And when I sat down, I heard like a gush of water.
Andrew and Courtney having a baby.
Hi guys, it's Courtney. Welcome back to my channel. Last night was hectic. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm unsure of what happened, whether my waters broke or what happened, I'm not too sure. I will tell you what happened now. So at 5 p.m. yesterday, after I recorded my 37-week bump date, I went to the bathroom and I always lay toilet paper down in the bowl I don't know, I've just always done it. It started off in public restrooms and now I just do it all the time. So I laid toilet paper down in the toilet bowl, not touching the water. And when I sat down, I heard like a gush of water. So I looked in the toilet and the toilet paper was drenched, but still not touching the water. So it wasn't from the water in the toilet. I then proceeded to pee and do my business, and it was a completely different color. So the color of the water that was on, or whatever that was on the toilet paper the first time, was clear. And obviously when I peed, it's yellow because, you know, pee's yellow. So I'm not too sure what it was. So I rang my husband and I told him what happened, and he suggested that I just call the hospital just to make sure that they didn't want me to come in. So I gave them a buzz and I told them the story that I just told you. And the midwife suggested that I come in so that they can monitor me and run some tests just to make sure that it wasn't my waters breaking. So I went to the hospital. I took my hospital bag as requested by the midwife, and they took me into the birthing area. They hooked me up to those machines that monitor your baby's heart rate and contractions, and I was having regular contractions, about 3 every 10 minutes. I think she said 2 to 3 every 10 minutes. And they were pretty regular and not painful, but intense. So they kept me hooked up to that machine for about half an hour. They said based on that, it looked like I might be in early labor, so they were going to run a test to see if it was amniotic fluid that I heard go in the toilet. So they ran that test where they do the swab and dip it and wait 5 minutes or whatever they do. I would just like to mention that during the test, there were 3 midwives in the room and they were all, you know, looking at my bits because that's what they do. And once they inserted I can't remember what they called it, that metal thing that they put in and open up your cervix. When they inserted that, they all went, "Oh, we can see you're leaking. I'll be very surprised if this comes back negative. We can see that you're leaking." So I was shocked at that point. I was like, okay, it must have been amniotic fluid. I mean, what else could it have been? So when it came back a faint positive, I was a bit confused. So I was really confused at that, and I said, what does that even mean? And she said, it means that it may have been your waters that broke. And I'm like, was it or not? Like, what the hell is going on? She said that they wanted to keep me in overnight to monitor me and see if things progress. In the morning, my OBGYN would come in and inspect me himself. So they kept me in overnight and I got some rest. I was having contractions, but they didn't seem regular to me and they weren't particularly painful. They're just uncomfortable like they have been. This morning rolls around and my OB comes in and he hooks me up to that machine again, and I'm having regular contractions and they're actually more intense than they were last night. The number was higher and they were pretty close together as well. But then he did the same test that the 3 midwives did, and he said that he couldn't see anything. He put the metal gross thing inside and opened me up and said he could see my cervix and it was closed, and he got me to cough and he said that there's no liquid leaking, which I was extremely confused about because all 3 midwives last night told me that with certainty they could see something leaking. I'm just confused. with the conflicting results from 3 midwives and then my OB, completely different results from all of it. He did the same test and said it came back negative. He sent me home basically, but he said he wanted to check with an ultrasound first that she had amniotic fluid around her and that everything was okay. He discharged me from the hospital and I went to my appointment, which I was supposed to go to today anyway, and he did a scan. And he said that there is still amniotic fluid around her, so my waters didn't completely break, or they didn't break at all, he said. But while he was doing the scan even, I was having regular contractions and it was pretty uncomfortable. After the scan, he sat me down and he said, keep an eye on your contractions, and if they get any stronger, come back in. If they're painful, come in. And I said to him, honestly, I don't want to come in if it picks up, because I just feel like I'm wasting everyone's time. I honestly felt like I was just wasting everybody's time last night by being there, and it turned out to be nothing. He also said that baby is still measuring small in his opinion. He said she looks small, she feels small, and he's requested that I go for another ultrasound, which by the way is not cheap, tomorrow, so that he can get the results by Friday. So I have another ultrasound booked for tomorrow to check the growth of baby girl, and I've been instructed to keep an eye on the contractions, and they are still happening. I'm not feeling any pain per se in what I would expect, I guess, a contraction to feel like, even though I've never had a baby before. However, my back hurts quite a lot, and from what he said, her back is on my back, so it could be back labor. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know what to expect. I've never had a baby before. I'm just sitting at home extremely confused about what's going on, and I have no idea what to do. I just don't know how it could have a faint positive and then just be negative. I don't understand. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. I'm not a midwife or an OB. But yeah, so I'm sitting at home now, just confused and kind of disappointed and angry really, because I wasted my time by going to the hospital, and from how the midwives were talking to me, she said, oh yeah, it looks like your waters within the next 48 hours you should have a baby. That's what she said to me. And so I'd come to terms with that fact, and I had mentally prepared myself, and now I'm just sitting at home, and it's just disappointing really. I know that she still has a few weeks until she's due. I'm 37 weeks and 1 day today, so she still does have a few weeks, but I'm concerned that when I do go into labor, I'm not going to go into the hospital. I'm not going to know I'm in labor, or I'm not going to want to believe it. I don't know. Anyway, that's the update that I have in relation to that. In different news, yesterday after I recorded my bump date, I also recorded my nursery tour, which should be up tomorrow. So I'm sorry you're probably going to be flooded with videos for the next few days from me. Anyway guys, if you have any advice on anything that I've said, if it's happened to you or you know someone that it happened to, and you have any feedback or anything like that, please let me know down below. It would be extremely helpful for me because I have no idea what's going on. Thanks very much for watching this video. If you haven't already subscribed, you can subscribe below if you'd like to follow our journey, and I will talk to you later. Bye!